Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Don Sinkfield joining us again here today from Valley Stream, New York. Help2adjust.com is the website. What did I say? Help2adjust.com. That's right. He's the owner and mental health and wellness, and he's helping people to adjust. And tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing, Don.
So I called the business Help to Adjust because I truly believe that in most cases, we do not have control over what we're dealing with, but we do better if we have help to adjust. And so that was the concept behind the business name. And, I'm a licensed mental health counselor.
Yeah.
Mental health counseling is a profession that is overseen by the New York State Education Department. Like my former profession of education, I was a former teacher and guidance counselor. And, counseling is really getting people to think about what they are experiencing and what they have experienced, especially in the way of trauma, to think about it differently, to help people to reframe things, to fight reflexive shame, which is a topic I may come back to in this interview, and really help people to adjust to all types of circumstances, including just things that are difficult to adjust to, like even the good things in life, like relationships and changes. Even when you get a career advancement, that could be a difficult change. And so that's what counseling is. And, I really believe we do help a lot of people.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for being here and for joining us, and excited that you're back. Just a little recap of, what got you into this field, if you don't mind sharing a little with us.
I was raised in Queens, and when I graduated high school, I went to John Jay College with a criminal justice major, believing that I wanted to get into law enforcement. And, people who are good law enforcement officers are heroes. But I quickly realized that I really wanted to be in the helping professions, and that the arrest and prosecution of people was just something that was not what I wanted to be the center of my life. And so when I got into education, I got into it with the idea of helping people. And then as an educator, I was mentored by good people who told me that, that I was a natural counselor. I should also give my mom some credit for counseling, because she told me at 13, when she got my Psychology Today subscription, that I was a counselor. I think she used the word psychologist at the time.
And then how did your path transition to this and what you're doing today?
Well, when as an educator, I was being mentored by some people who were telling me that I was a natural counselor. And that kind of led to me applying to graduate school. I was already a teacher. And when I applied to graduate school to be a counselor, I went through the process and got admitted. And when I graduated from graduate school in school and mental health counseling, I first became a school counselor. And I did that for 15 years. But while I was doing that, I started a little practice called Help to Adjust in Valley Stream. And that practice grew. And then we started a larger practice called the New Hope Mental Health Counseling, now in Rockville Center. And here we are today.
Oh, well, congratulations. We're excited you're here helping so many people. And I want to share again the website helptoadjust.com. And also, you're on social media, you're everywhere on social media as well. And again, you're a community of therapists that are here. Helping those in New York State, right, to help with their mental health. And, this is something that's very unique, right? Because you have so many people under your belt, and that you could do everything from like telehealth. You do family counseling, right? I think we talked about anger management last time, couples counseling.
Mhm.
There's a lot. There's a lot. So what did you want to kind of focus on for today?
Well, um, the one thing I would say that COVID gave us was an expansion of mental health services. So during COVID, we had most of the sessions before that being done in person. So my office was always crowded, especially in the evening hours with people coming in after work, bringing their kids in, um, themselves coming in for sessions after their 9 to 5, or people who worked in schools, 8 to 3, whatever it was, people were there. But during COVID, people really had the opportunity to use telehealth more, and it never went away. People still love um, telehealth. I have clients that I've had for a few years now, and I have never met them face to face, but the connection that we've formed through telehealth, and we have a HIPAA. HIPAA is the law
Yeah.
that governs the medical process in this country, and when you are dealing with anything medical, it is uh, confidential, and there's very strict guidelines around that. And so we have a HIPAA compliant system that we
Hmm.
use to see our clients. And so I think that that's uh, one of the only I would say fortunate things that came out of the COVID-19 crisis, is that we were able to expand telehealth and
Okay.
thereby expand the amount of people that we help.
Great. And you clearly love what you do. You're helping so many people. And did you want to share, some of, the people that you're helping, some of the things people are going through? Maybe, here we are around the holidays. I don't know if that's a topic you want to kind of walk down the path, but there's a lot of extra anxiety. There's a lot of depression sometimes around the holidays. I'm assuming things are going to get a little hard for people.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Thank you for that. That's a very insightful observation on your part. When I worked in schools, um, we always advised teachers and just school staff in general to beware of children that may get more depressed during the holidays, that may be easily triggered or activated into negative ways of feeling, because the holidays do bring a lot of stress for people. This could be because of loss. If someone had a loss of a close family member, and now, it is the first Thanksgiving or the first Christmas that you're having without that loved one, that can be devastating on people. There's financial stuff for adults where people are, even responsible, very responsible people, are pressured to spend more, than they would during the holidays. And then people who tend to overcompensate and want to do a lot for the holidays, it can bring on a lot of debt and financial strain. And then to top all of that off, you just have the um, FOMO, the fear of missing out, which is something that happens when people um, are watching what other people experience, especially in the world that we have today of social media. The people are possibly seeing other people's holiday experiences and feeling like, man, I wish I could be doing that with my family, or I wish that I could be uh, in the south of France, or whatever is happening for other people. And so the holidays are a definitely a stressor on people. I would also add that January 23rd, statistically, is the biggest day that people seek new counseling services. And it's often attributed to the fact that it's about 3 weeks after the new year. And when you have people experiencing the new year and resolutions, and um, then a lot of times those resolutions are not being upheld because of the difficulty people have with um, sustainable changes to their lives, especially without the help of processing it with someone. It can be a lot. So January 23rd is that big counseling day, and you know, I think during the holidays, people often slow down their sessions because they get busy. Family is around, and whatever's happening in the way of travel and activities, it just causes people not to seek the counseling as much. And then right after the holidays, you see it pick up in a big way. So, you know, for people who are seeking therapy already, stick to your sessions during the holiday season if possible, because it does not, the need for it does not stop.
Perfectly. Good, good, good. What else did you want to share for today about mental health and obviously, what you're doing and your staff and your team of people helping people?
Well, we also have a foundation, the Speak Hope Foundation, and the Speak Hope Foundation really raises money for mental health treatment for those who have trouble affording it. And, it's important that um, the access to the services are available, because, if, without the access, no matter how many professionals you have that are of goodwill and really want to serve people, it's difficult. One of the problems that we have seen a lot of, well, I'll go back to COVID. When the COVID crisis was in full effect, many of the all of the insurance companies really relaxed their rules. And so people who were covered through insurance didn't have to pay deductibles, didn't have to pay copays,
Mm-hmm.
um, didn't have to pay any of the fees that are possibly related to their services. And that was very helpful, because then the anxiety, of course, that kicked up with COVID, a lot more people were seeking the services, and a lot of people didn't have the worry about what copays and coinsurance and deductibles could do to their individual financial situations. So if you could imagine, with copays being, in some cases between 40 and $70 a session, if someone
Yeah.
is really devoted to their sessions and wants to come in weekly, that could be, anywhere between 160 and $280 a month. And um, people are overly obligated already. So if you think about a family that has a mortgage, let's say in a in the very town that I practice in, right? If you have a mortgage in Valley Stream, it's quite possible that your mortgage is $5,000 a month or $4,000
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
Now, with a $4,000 a month mortgage and you're a two-car family, then you might be paying $400 a car, and then you have to pay car insurance and phones, and then the kids have phones. I mean, even if you're making a great living, um, adding, let's say if a mother and a daughter or a father and a son want to come to counseling. I mean, if you add $500 a month to the mix, that could be devastating to people's finances. So, you know, you mentioned that, on our website that we say we're a community of therapists committed to equity for mental health. I mean, that is part of that message. Like, we really want to make sure that the access to the services are there so that so people could have it. And I think that if we went back in time to, let's say, like the civil rights movement, and people were talking about what rights people should have who were poor or underserved people, I really believe that right now, if we talked about those rights, I think the uh, mental health would be up at the top of things that mental health access would be at the top of things that would be important.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Yeah. I know things are so expensive and everything keeps going up and taxes and
Yeah.
it's a lot for people. And then to think about, well, to keep them sane, to keep them at bay, to know it's too expensive to go to the doctor. Well, then what happens next? Or go to a mental health counselor and they can't. So they skip on that and that really affects them. And it's just, it's so sad that there's that overall chain of
Mm.
effect. And you got to put other things first, food on the table, before you worry about yourself. It's hard. It's hard. Now, are there programs for those, who are, um, you know, what's the word I use? That don't have enough income in a sense. Is there programs for people out there that can still get the help they need?
If you Google free counseling, you can get a lot of programs that will pop up that where they take Medicaid.
Okay.
So if you are a low income person and you have a Medicaid plan of some kind, you can access those programs. But the problem is that, like what I was describing, which is that in many cases, the middle class is also poor in a sense because people have high mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, each person needs a car to
Yep.
travel to work. There's kids to pick up. There's a job, somewhere that's not easy to get to,
Yep.
and people's lifestyle makes it so that they really need
Okay.
these vehicles, and they need, these amenities in their life that by the time you look at what they're actually spending, even though they're making a great living, they don't
And the
really have a lot
gas
of
and
disposable income.
got it. Got it. Uh,
Mhm.
Dawn, let's remind everyone all the ways we can reach out to you, please.
Um, Don Sinkfield, the company is Help to Adjust Inc. We are in Valley Stream, right in the middle of everything, not too far from Green Acres Mall, for those of you who know that. Um, 516-920-6407, www.helptoadjust.com. And, we always get back to people, and, truly, I do believe that a friendly voice on the other end of the phone when people are going through something tough is important. I mean, I've had people, Jill, that have come to us, to the office, or to me directly and said, "Thank you. I'm really glad you all are here,"
Yeah.
because that, I mean, it really speaks to the need that is out there for people. And we really try to make a difference with the people that we work with.
Great. Well, we still have another 5 minutes still left in the show, 4 minutes. So what else do you want to make sure we cover for today, Don?
Well, I would say back in history, we may have lived a more simple life. And, if you think about living in a hunter-gatherer society, the things that we had to remember in order to keep us safe was, we had to know who the people were in our village, and we if you were living off the land, you may have needed to know what was poisonous, what plant was poisonous and what wasn't, so you didn't eat the wrong thing. But now, we really live in a world where um, to get pleasure through all of the things around us, like I mentioned social media earlier, it's so easy that we constantly have images and thoughts coming at us that are not our own, and we do need to, let's say, we need to ferret out what we really want to focus on, because if we focus on the wrong things or too much of what we think may be the right things, it ends up being excess for the mind. So, for instance, there's an obesity epidemic in our country right now, and at the same time, we have bodies being idealized that are thin bodies, right, on social media. So we really deal with that a lot. We deal with kids who have body dysmorphia as early as 10 and 11 years old. They are um, seeing their bodies as not being good enough. The habit of Uber Eats and all of the other ways that you can just have things delivered to you that may be enjoyable but really are not good for you per se. And so, we're really helping people to deal with a modern world that I think is it in some way it could look good on the outside, but there's a downside to all of this stuff that we're exposed to and that we have such easy access to. And what counseling does. There's another thing, Jill. People, the male brain, guys, doesn't develop fully until we are 25 years old. And so, that's the frontal lobe of the brain, that key part of the brain for decision making and judgment and moral judgment, and even just judgment for safety. That 25 years old, and for women, it's closer to 23. But we are really big adolescents, for a good part of our youth, and we really need um, some guidance. So a lot of what we do is psychoeducation, also just reminding people that their intake mentally is also important, and we give people articles to read, or a little YouTube or something to go to learn stuff, because the support is part of it, but it's also your intake. So we believe in that, and I think that most mental health counselors, social workers, psychologists are engaging in psychoeducation also.
Well, I appreciate your time here and for helping so many. If someone does want to reach out to you, would you mind sharing how we do that again?
Absolutely not. Our phone number in Valley Stream is 516-920-6407. The website is help2adjust.com. We're right in the middle of Valley Stream, accessible by public transportation. And, if you call us, we will answer or get right back to you. And Jill, I really appreciate this time, talking to the audience, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. And hopefully we will connect again soon. Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
Thank you. To all of our listeners and viewers, stay tuned. We'll have more coming right up after the break, and enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm. It's getting chilly out here on the island, right? But hey, we had a
Yes.
little bit of rain and it's going to keep dry. So we'll just enjoy it while we can. Thanks again.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcasts on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.